So we are actually the first people who are shooting inside this house. Everybody wants to make Dhurandhar. I don't think of it because if I keep thinking of what audience wants, then I'll open a restaurant, no? I will make a film in the South language. There's nothing Indian about the mythologies that everybody's making. They're all inspired by Game of Thrones and Lord of the Rings. I don't know. I think my literary inspirations definitely have shaped most of my characters. Yeah, but also this is Bhansali's cover.
You want to talk to us a little bit about why did you adapt this
I
specific?
because I don't like it. So for me, Devdas has been adapted so many times. But personally, I think I've read a lot of Sharat Chandra, and he's written great books. But Devdas is his weakest book. He wrote it as a teenager, and you can see a teenager writing this book. But the simple books adapt themselves to films easily. The complex ones find it very difficult. And I made this film out of. Uh, I was very disheartened. I was angry because my films were not releasing or flops. So I was like, okay, what do you want? You want Devdas? I'll give you Devdas. But Vikram Motwani wrote the script and he adapted it to a modern day context. I took his script and I even played around with it.
So now Devdas has become a cult after all these years. First of all, what is your interpretation of the word cult?
I hate it. I sometimes want to be like a filmmaker who's like relevant for the time. कि आज फिल्म रिलीज हुई है और आज ही हिट हो जाए. My films always people like it 4 years, 5 years, sometimes 10 years after release. Like today, people love Yellow Boots. People love No Smoking. They call it cult. I wanted to translate into monetary benefits. That doesn't happen with me. Mounting a film becomes a trouble. It becomes very difficult because everybody is a businessman at the end of the day. So they want a film that works then and there, and that is very rarely happen. That happened with Devdi. That kind of happened with Wasipur, Manmarjiyan, Mukkabaz, but most of the films it doesn't happen.
One of the criticisms that Reddit is obsessed with about the film is how Abideo's character was a bad person, but he still gets a happy end.
I think everybody deserves a happy ending. I think people are not bad. People do things which are self-destructive. People can become assholes. People can be like that. But when they find some kind of a hope or happy ending, people can change. I believe people should be given second chances. And I believe in second chances. I got a second chance in life. I was pretty much that same person. That period was for me also very difficult. My lifetime friend and my ex-wife, she edited the film, the mother of my daughter. She's been my friend since childhood. And we were married and everything. We were also going through lots. We were going through separation, we were going through a lot of things while she was editing the film, while I was directing the film. So, no, everything was happening simultaneously. So, I was also in a very self destruction phase. And I found redemption. I found life again. I found, everything that was happening was in the film. Women like the ending of Devdi. Men have a lot of problem with ending of Devdi because men like to romanticize the self-flagellation of Devdas. Men often, but women like the ending of Devdi because somehow there is this thing about women have this part in them which automatically also makes them a mother, which they nurture. They have hope. It's a cliche. It's a cliche that they used to say, women fall for bad guys. They fall for bad guys because they think they can change them. But there's a partial truth to that cliche. They have this nurturing thing that actually does change people. The idea that a man does not self reflect, has come from a lot of literature.
Is there a scene from Devdi that you think is deeply inspired by something you read or you saw? Few pairs, if you have.
Outsider. Outsider is one of the greatest books, or The Rebel, Sartre's Rebel, uh, Kafka style is there. So I'm saying that there is hell of a lot of literature that even today I don't agree with the philosophy of it, but Fountainhead. I think my whole being has come from. I think you have it here. My favorite book. It's my favorite book. Crime and Punishment. I tried to do this in my last film, Nishanchi, in a very different way. It's like his notes from underground, Dostoevsky and everything. These are, the detailing of the character comes from him. The magic of Dostoevsky is empathy and resonance. The thing is, you can see it happening. You visualize it happening. There is an action and there is a consequence. Crime and Punishment is action and consequence.
Okay.
And you cannot escape the consequence. You have the consequences in this very life. So that's the most beautiful thing about Dostoevsky. I don't know. I think my literary inspirations definitely have shaped most of my characters. So Chanda also is shaped from a lot of literature. Like Chanda. If you look at a lot of literature, people would see Chanda as a femme fatale, but she's not a femme fatale. She's a human being. Even though she escapes the judgment, she does what she has to do, but she wants to study. She wants to change her life. And when her life changes, she escapes again her presence. And she's all woman because, she does what she thinks as a woman at a young age she can do. But, Chanda never judges herself. She never judges herself. She goes through it and she comes out on top of the life that she lived. We, as an outsider, we judge people. I remember when I was shooting No Smoking and I was in Tashkent. And Tashkent was going through penury and like so much poverty. And there's one of these interactions I had where this mother was simultaneously not just pimping her daughter, at the same time she was being protective. And me and my cameraman and people, we just wanted to have conversation with them that how could you do this? And we sat down with them and we had conversation over dinner. And if you hear their story, you're like, you don't judge them. You're like, I wish nobody goes through this. You wish nobody goes through this. But the thing is, they don't have an option. They were using what they could do best in a world which was so patriarchal and misogynist and controlled by men. And the whole thing was like, you are Indians, you're dark skinned guys. Dark skinned guys prefer a fair skinned woman. So they're hoping, like, a dark skinned guy will marry and take them away from this life. They did not like fair skinned customers. They liked dark skinned customers because they felt that dark skinned customers liked fair skinned people.
Do you think reading more makes you a better filmmaker?
I don't know, it gives me better perspective for sure. Reading is very important. I think cinema can never replace literature. Literature is a superior art form in any which way.
Agree with that. But we read that you used to read a lot of Hindi pulp fiction and also a lot of comics.
Yeah.
And honestly, Devdi looks like a film that could be in a comic because of the dramatic colors of it and like.
And see, Devdi's colors and everything comes a lot from heavy metal magazines. Heavy Metal, the comic magazine. And also Rajiv Ravi, my cameraman. He also plays around a lot with colors. But yeah, my writing influence, my biggest influence in writing actually comes from James M. Cain, Dostoevsky, um, Hammett. A lot of these authors who wrote the pulp fiction that was sold for penny. Like, they used to write because they were post World War. A lot of these people used to write a novel a week so they could buy alcohol. And those books became like my great books. So a lot of it that came from 30s and 40s. Those authors for me became my authors. Their everyday life. I became fascinated with finding out about how they lived. Like a lot of modern day authors are actually about grammar and English, and it's not really about life as much as it's about their understanding and knowledge of English. And I keep discovering new authors. Like now there is S.A. Cosby. That's one of the new, he's a black author from Mississippi or someplace like that. There is Megan Ebert. There's lots of Lisa Taddeo. There's lots of new authors that I keep discovering. So I really, really follow them. Comic books wise, I prefer Tardy, Jacques Tardy, French comic book artist, who is my favorite. He has had a big influence on me. Kennedy, I treated like a graphic novel. Kennedy was shot like a graphic novel, very inspired by Tardy. I wanted to do Doga, I wanted to do Bela Bahadur. I wanted to do a lot of stuff. It didn't happen since. So, comic lends itself to a kind of visual style that can be a little far away from being real, but more artistic and more fun. So, I've been wanting to do it for a long time. I still want to do Bela Bahadur. I still want to do Doga, but nothing. It just somehow didn't work out.
Do you think reading about filmmaking can make you a filmmaker?
Reading about filmmaking,
Do you think studying filmmaking can make you?
I don't know. I think people who become filmmakers are people who have it in them. I know there's so many film schools and so many students that pass out every year, they don't become filmmakers. So studying filmmaking is not important. I don't think that can make you a filmmaker. What makes you a filmmaker is you need to tell a story.
Are you shooting in Bangalore?
No, no, shooting, no, it's writing. I'm not shooting, I'm writing.
So you're not directing anything at the moment?
Right now, no, because the industry is going through a lot of confusion. Everybody wants a formula. Everybody wants to make Durandar. Everyone wants like. The problem is even the director of Durandar was not following a formula. So everybody wants that. And it's a very bad time to make a film. So for me, it's like I'm waiting for this time to pass. I have my scripts. I'll make the films. Let them try and make their own Durandars and fail. But
What do you think the audience wants nowadays when it comes to
I
cinema?
don't think of it. I don't think of it. Because if I keep thinking of what audience wants, then I'll open a restaurant, no? Why would I make a film? I'm saying the thing is like I want to make a film that I want to make. I don't care about what audience wants. I want to talk about what I want to say. For me, making a film is that. Making a film is not what audience wants. If audience doesn't want it, fine, I'll learn. But that's why I say, na, people say that your films are ahead of time.
What have been your top three best Indian cinema experiences that you've seen in theatre?
In cinemas.
Yeah.
Top three Indian cinema experience. There's a re-release of Pyasa. I love Pyasa, and a re-release that I saw, which was fantastic. And then my as a child, Kora Kagaz as a film. I've seen it 3 times. As a child, I saw it 3 times. And I saw Sholay much later, but that was one experience as a child because Sholay I heard before I saw the film. But more than Sholay, I would say the film called Andhi. Kora Kagaz, Andhi, and Pyasa. Those are my 3 top experiences in cinema.
Do you see yourself delving into the South Indian industry as a director?
Absolutely. I will. I will make a film in the South language for sure. I know that. Because just not because the quality of acting, writing. The most beautiful thing about South is actors are actors and they're people. And audience accepts them as people. Be it Tilish Pothan, be it Mammootty, be it Mohanlal. In Hindi film industry, they want their actors to be 6-pack, 8-pack, fair skin. They're not people. They're mannequins. The magic about South films is of Vijay Sethupathi. Magic about South films is like, actors are actors. They're real. They're people. Actress like Pallavi is a star. Who, according to me, is my favorite actress. Huh? Surabhi Lakshmi. These are people that think like Nimisha. They're very real. Divya Prabha, Kani Kasturi. You have actors like Kunchaku Bobban ho gaya, koi bhi ho gaya, Fahad Faisal, Fadil, they're real. They're real. It doesn't matter he's losing his hair. It doesn't matter he's thin. They don't have 6 packs. They're not mannequins. There's this beauty about people being people in South film industry. That's one of the key reasons I want to make film because Hindi has a very different mindset and requirement where everybody's in the gym. They do more gym than they work on themselves as human beings. Pan India is a fad. People think it's Pan India. Pan India, I think, is a big con job. They say Pan India, they get big stars to borrow money and nothing else. When you see behind most Pan India films is a person who probably has bought a new house.
On this angle of films being made, there's a lot of mythology which is now being adapted in like multiple different
Because it's
languages.
working, mythology is working and people want to see mythology, but it's also being manipulative. It's also fake. It's not real. It's not real. I'm saying people are doing mythology inspired by Game of Thrones, Lord of Rings. They're not doing mythology like how it is Indian mythology. There's nothing Indian about the mythologies that everybody's making. They're all inspired by